And you know the sun's sitting fast, just like they say nothing good ever lasts. Go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your love because your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun sitting down on our town, on our town? Good night. Now I sit on the porch, watch lightning bugs fly. I can't see too good, I got tears in my eyes. I'm leaving tomorrow, but I don't want to go. I love you, my town, you'll always live in my soul. And you know the sun's sitting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your love because your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun sitting down on our town, on our town? Good night.
Good evening and welcome to this week in review. Tonight's stories include Duke of Edinburgh Silver participants brave the elements, Sandbanks Park closes on Monday, Trophy Moose killed at Baddaloo. These stories plus BBS Playbill, Off the Rack and more coming up after this.
This is the place where the dawn breaks earliest. The new year comes soonest. And the Atlantic first meets the new world. You can walk the streets of the oldest city in North America. Far east of the Western world.
On Friday, September the 10th, 3 participants of the Duke of Edinburgh braved the elements to do their expedition. Kristen Janes, Angela Peterson, and Victoria Symes, along with Karen Banfield, left the trailer court at approximately 4:30 p.m. for this expedition. This was a requirement for the silver level of the Duke of Edinburgh Challenge. These 3 young women have been trying to get this part of their silver done since school closed, but due to other commitments, it wasn't possible until September the 10th. Despite the weather, it was decided that this would go ahead. The requirements stated that the young women had to hike a total of 50 kilometers. This included 2 nights in tents and several hours of activity. On the first night out, the group made it as far as Sailbrook, but it was just too windy and wet to put up the tent, so they spent the night in the back of Miss Banfield's truck. Saturday, the weather was sunny and the participants continued to Wooden Tilt Brook for the rest of their expedition. On Sunday, they returned to town, tired, sore, and with lots of blisters, but with a great sense of accomplishment that this part of the Duke of Edinburgh was completed. Their record books will be sent in to be checked, and then these young women will begin the gold and final part of the Duke of Edinburgh Challenge. We extend our congratulations to these adventurous young women and wish them every success in their gold challenge. The Sandbanks Park closes for the season on Monday, September the 20th. According to the statistics, the number of campers is down this year from last year by 160. We spoke to the Ed Park Ranger and he told us campers slacked off earlier this year than last. Last year they had campers up to the last week. This year there has been a noticeable difference in the number of campers since the third week in August. The rangers at Sandbanks feel that the weather, gas prices, and the oil park fees had a definite impact on the number of campers this year. For the camping season 2003, there were a total of 1,351 campers. This year, for the same period, they had 1,191 campers. That's a difference of 160 campers. We took a closer look at each month for the camping season. In May 2003 at Sandbanks Park, saw 4 campers, and it was the same for 2004. June of 2003, there were 132 campers. For June 2004, this number dropped to 93. For July 2003, there were 406. This year, there were 288 campers. The month of August for 2003 saw 721 campers. This year, that number was up to 1,093 campers. For September last year, saw 88 campers. This year, as of September 14th, there were 94 campers. Even though there was an increase in campers for August and September this year, it wasn't enough to bring the statistics up to meet last year's. Most of the visitors to the Sandbanks Park were very impressed with the park. It seems they were mostly impressed by the cleanliness of the facilities, the camping area, and the friendliness of the park staff. The walking trails and beaches were also very impressive to most of the campers. We send a big thank you to the park staff for treating our guests at the park so well, because this reflects a good impression of our community. Thanks, guys, for all your hard work and dedication to our park. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
There's an island, of course, and over 10,000 miles of coastline, raised up in sunshine and storm. Thousands of islands, coves, guts, and bays, with a strange and startling beauty. It's a land that lives by the sea. No wonder our dogs have webbed feet.
This coming week will be the second week of moose hunting season, but many were successful on the very first day. Calvin Symes, Clayton Blake, and Henry Young Jr. were among the ones who were successful in filling their license. They may even be the envy of many other hunters. They killed a 22-point moose in Beddaloo. This is the rack that came from the moose. The men figured that this animal weighed about 500 pounds. They brought him down at approximately 11:30 a.m. on the first day of the hunting season. It took them 2 trips to bring back the meat to the boat. It was about an hour and a half with a turn on their back from where the boat was tied up. Clayton Blake described this moose as a bog moose. These are a little different from the woodland moose. Bog moose are shorter in body size than the woodland moose. This huge animal had about 150 pounds of fat, the men figures. The meat is very good, nice and tender, which surprised the hunters. Often when an animal is this fat, the meat is tough. We congratulate Kelv, Clayton, and Henry on their successful hunt and thank them for calling us and allowing us to film this great trophy.
Awesome. 22 points, just for saying. You can't add that little knob, boy.
Ring one.
You said you can put a ring on it. Why do you put a ring on that one?
Put a ring on that is
You can put a ring on it.
22 points,
You 22, yeah? Just for saying.
On Monday of this week, we went to the Burgeo Academy for a school report. Mr. Penny.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
And thanks for speaking with us.
And thank you for coming in.
I believe you got some items that you would like to pass on to the public.
I do. I'll try to make it short, but there are a few things I want to do. First of all, I want to welcome everyone back. Obviously, our teachers and our students. We got 7 kindergartens in this year. So certainly want to welcome them back, and hopefully they will enjoy their time over the next 13 years with us. And also our graduates. This is their last year. Big year for I think there's about 15 of them. So certainly they're excited, and certainly all the parents. I mean, obviously they're not in school, but it's an important time for them. Parents of kindergarten kids and the grads and everyone in between. Certainly a big welcome to everybody. And if anything ever pops up, any questions or concerns, my office door is open, and so is the phone. So certainly anybody can get in reach with me. The main thing, I guess, is to introduce our, well, they're not here obviously, but to give you the names of our new teachers. We have 5 teachers retired last year. Certainly a lot of experience with the 5 teachers that have gone, a lot of good teachers, certainly going to be missed, but with our new ones, we hope that, and I'm sure we will carry on as normal, and our kids will succeed as they have been. So I'll just run down through the names of all the teachers and our staff and what they will be teaching. First one, kindergarten, we got Karen Banfield. Miss Banfield is teaching kindergarten and also in the afternoons a bit of career guidance, and I'll get to that one in a second. And also doing a bit of other things, helping out in our 1-2 multi-grade class. But Miss Penny is away at university this year, which means we don't have a guidance counselor. Now, that's not good, but at this time there is another guidance counselor. We were looking to get one come out for 2 days a week from Stephenville. That has not gone through yet. So I want to make all parents and the community aware that right now there is no guidance per se. Ms. Banfield will do the career guidance for grade 11 and 12 students, especially the grade 12 students that's going off to university and college next year. So Ms. Penny would take students out if students wanted to chat with them. That's not going to be there. Now, our board do have things in place of people inside in Stephenville and in Corner Brook that kids can access, that I can access in case of emergencies, and we still got people in the community like Ms. Cutler and a few things like that. So just make sure parents are aware of that we don't have a guidance counselor, but we're still trying for one. And if we do, unfortunately Ms. Banfield will lose part of her job, and the guidance counselor will take over from there. So that's a big one. For 1-2, returning again this year is Miss Elsie Rose, the multi-grade class. Grade 3 is Miss Marlene Batcher. Grade 4, Miss Ruth Tucker. She's also going to be my VP, or the VP for the school, so certainly looking forward to working with her. Grade 5 is one of our new teachers, Miss Verna Atcher. She spent the last 3 or 4 years in Ramia, so she's here with us half-time grade 5, teaching math and English in grade 5, and half-time video conferencing, which I'm sure Marie you know a little bit about, and obviously working with Dave. She's teaching French to Ramia half-time with a little bit of French in amongst that to Grey River. In grade 6, we have Mr. John Barter, moved up from Great River. He will be the grade 6 homeroom teacher and also doing a little bit of math and science in grade 7. 7 and 8, another multi-grade class, Miss Beverly Batcher. She was the multi-grade homeroom teacher for the same students last year. And she will be also doing some senior I English. Grade 9 homeroom teacher, Miss Grace Abbott. Miss Abbott carrying on with the science as she has been for many years. Level 1, Mr. Max Pink, teaching again social studies, actually from grade 4 up, with numbers being reduced in teachers and in students. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however I guess you want to take it, some of our teachers are teaching more across grades than sticking with just junior, senior, or things like that. And also Mr. Pink's last year, so certainly want to wish him a very good year. Level 2, grade 11, Mr. Wayne Vivian, still our IA art tech teacher. And level 3, homeroom teacher, Mr. Corwin Durnford. Mr. Durnford will be teaching religion and health pretty much from grade 4 up, along with some English courses. And he's also retiring this year, so along with Mr. Pink, I want to wish him the best, and hopefully they will enjoy their year. We have a new phys ed teacher, Mr. David Fever from Deer Lake, and he will be teaching phys ed from K to 12. Bit of science in grades 4, 5, and 8, I believe. We have a new math teacher, teaching math from grades 8 and up, Miss Christine Elliott. She's from Corner Brook. Returning as our French teacher, Miss Katie Westwood. Returning as our music teacher, half-time air, half-time again through video conferencing with the coach, Miss Heather Kendall. We have a new criteria teacher this year, Miss Wanda Skinner. And we also have Miss Stella Grant as a special service teacher for the primary elementary. That's our 18 staff along with myself. We also still always have Floss, still a lady who keeps everything going. We have Jim and Sandra as our janitors. Kim and Yvonne are our student assistants, and we have a new CIS worker, Miss Penny Day. So that's our staff. I believe there's 23, if I counted correctly, of everybody, and I want to wish everybody a good year. And certainly if anybody got questions or concerns, not only have they got to call me, but I'm sure any of those people would certainly take a call or help out any way they can. So that's our staff. The few other things I want to discuss is things that's on the go in our school, and some issues that it's already popped up that I'd like to mention. But the first one, and I hate to do this already, but fundraising. It seems that for the last month or so, every time you turn on the radio or TV, school fees being talked about, but I mean, even above that, it's still not enough funding for us to do what we want to do. Since we're so far away from I guess the major centers of Stephenville and Corner Brook, student travel here is crazy for us, and with the price of gas and whatnot, we got to rely on other means of funds. Same thing with supplies. What the government give us, what the parents and students pay for, unbelievable, but it's still not enough to keep things going. So we're looking at really two major things for fundraising. One is continuing with the bingo. This year we have 3 bingos with BBS, one in early October, one in early February, and one in early May. This will be bingos for K to 12. Now we haven't done that before. We've split it from like junior, senior I, and then primary elementary, but we're looking at involving everybody in our bingos. So hopefully that'll raise us a bit of extra funds. How many packs of cards I guess the kids will be responsible for, we'll work that out by the first week in October, and we'll certainly let parents know. The other thing that it's becoming very popular, and we've tried it for the past 2 or 3 years, is recycling. To me, it's the easiest way to raise money if parents and students and even teachers as well are willing to bring in their recyclables. And I told the students in our first assembly Tuesday or Wednesday past that if they brought in 20 items, but actually if every 2 weeks, if they bring in 10 items, that's 10 pop cans or juice bottles, juice cans, whatnot, 10 items a person, over the 10 months between now and the end of June, we can make $3,500. And that's amazing when you're looking at 20 pieces of items a month per kid.
Would that be just your students and teachers?
Just with our students and teachers.
Wow.
Well, we get 5. Well, I mean, every piece of recycling is 5 cents. The government matches it, so really the 10 items is 50 cents. The government matches, so it's $1 So I mean, you got about 180 staff and students, or probably a little more than that, probably 100, actually about 190. So I mean, it's not too hard to figure out. Tons by 2 run of a month, and tons by 10, and it's a lot of money. So the last year or two, it's mainly been our staff bringing in the recyclables, but the money we raise go right back to the kids. I mean, we obviously don't get it, and when it comes to driving it over the road for whether it's swimming, I know the board pays some of that, but sports, our grade 12s go out to visit colleges. I mean, there's a lot of things just in travel alone that really sucks up a lot of our budget. And with bingo, that pretty much all that is gone, and we're still short then. So the recycling, it's easy, right? And I know parents and students want to get the money themselves, but we're not asking for everything that they got. We're asking for 10 items in 2 weeks. So we're going to try it this Friday, and certainly, obviously this will be aired after, but for the two Fridays after that, students and parents should bring it in, and Mr. Mel Billard will be here, and just drop it right off in the back of his pickup. No big deal.
Or maybe some parents in the community who has students in school no longer, maybe to able to help.
Absolutely. So I mean, we will take obviously whatever can. I mean, I know there's other community groups that they get involved with recycling, but again, we're not asking for everything. We're just asking for a little bit, and with our situation where the government matches every penny that we bring in, it's a great fundraiser, and that's it. Now I'm sure we'll be getting involved in some other things, but that's the two main ones. And if they go as I see it going, we shouldn't have to do any more. That'll cover everything.
Excellent.
So, hopefully, I mean, money is an issue, but I'm sure it will always continue to be. The other couple of things I have here. First thing is our crossing guard. I believe we put on BBS a few days ago that we're still looking for volunteers for crossing guards. We did it last year for a few months towards the end of the year. Worked really well. Obviously we had there was an accident there that fortunately it wasn't too serious, but when a little girl got struck, that's very serious, whether she was hurt bad or not. So certainly we're looking for volunteers. It's about 5 minutes a day. I mean, if they're there, we've got some stop signs out here. I mean, 5 after 12, kids get out of school. To 10 after 12, it's cleared out here. So if we had someone in the crosswalk there in front of the town hall, town offices there, that's all we need, 5 minutes a day. And we really need 8 or 10 volunteers to lighten the load. So I mean, not 2 or 3 people doing it all the time. And I think we had 4 last year, and they found it a bit hectic. So certainly anybody out there got a few minutes to spare, by all means, give us a call, and we'll get you on the volunteer list. Traffic in front of our school, it seems like in the mornings, just 5 minutes, I guess, before the bell goes. Same with after lunch. The traffic out in front is becoming very hectic. We've got a big area here, but in one way we do, one way we don't. But if parents could just drop off their kids, kind of move along as fast, not speeding or anything, but move along as quickly as they can. And if they need to come into the school, maybe parking down by the BBS entrance or the community entrance down there. But some people are parking right in the front, kind of slowing down traffic, and just becoming a little bit hectic. So we're going to keep an eye on it and just ask the parents just be cognizant of that. Our bail schedule, just want to just mention that one was a letter sent to them last year in June where our bills have changed. The reason was explained there, but to put it very simply, is because of our CDLI students. That's students in grade 12 that are doing courses actually by a teacher in Gander and also a teacher in Corner Brook, and it's through the computer, and every school in our district has been required to go by that schedule. So it's shortened up our lunch periods 9 minutes. That's unfortunate, but there's really no choice. If there are still concerns or issues, I know that way out in Messers and probably out towards I guess the out of town going that way, that kids may have very little time to eat lunch now. But I've had one call in June. I had one parent came in this year, but that's it. And certainly if there are more concerns, let us know, and then we'll see what can be done. But right now, that's where it go. There was also some discussion, maybe the bus will be going out on, I guess it's the beach or in Fervers or that area. That will not go ahead. There were some discussions about it with myself, the bus driver, and a few people. I think the word got out there that may be going ahead, that it's not. And the reasons for that, if anybody is concerned, can certainly give me a call. And I guess the only other thing I really have is we're missing some books for our junior high kids. From what we can gather, and we're the ones taking the blame for that, that when kids wrote exams in junior high last year, especially the grade 8s, the books were not returned. Now a lot of them have been, but I'm going to ask all parents if whether you got kids in school now or not, because there's a lot of books that go out that belongs to the school. So what's happened is that, talking about money earlier, is that now we need to start spending more money for books that are not here. And I had to spend, I think it was $150 for a few novels over the summer from school's money that I know novels are here somewhere. Whether they're poked away here in the school or they're in someone's homes, there's books around. So certainly if you got any books that your child's not using, bring one onto the school. If it's garbage, if they're not being used anymore, we will tell you and go from there. And to be honest, that's as much as what I have. I know that's enough right now. And certainly I want everyone to know that, as I said earlier, that my door is open. Certainly give us a call if you can't come by. We're here to do whatever we can. And I mean, we all have our jobs, teachers, students, and the parents. And we all need to work together. I mean, the main goal here is student achievement and to get our kids doing well. And I mean, for the past number of years, our students have done very well on CRTs, public exams. I have a principals meeting first week in October regarding that for last year's kids, and I know right now that we've done very well. That meeting will discuss just how well we've done with other schools and whatever. But we had I was into a committee last year, and I mean, we're in the top 2 or 3 on the grade 3, 6, 9 CRTs and every public exam. That's in our old school board, the Cormac Charles School Board, and that's amazing. And we want it to continue, but we can still do better, right? I mean, we're always looking, we're never satisfied, and I guess that's the way that education should be. But everybody got to do their part. Students doing homework, parents got to make sure that they're in doing the work, and teachers obviously are teaching it and making sure that things run smoothly there. So.
Now that the school boards has changed a bit, have you noticed any difference yet so far?
Not really, and to be honest, I doubt if we'll notice much. Okay. Stephenville is still used a lot. We have what's called a regional educational officer, Ms. Brenda Pittman. She's kind of the overseer. It's kind of divided in 3 areas. Us, Corner Brook, and I believe it's Lower Cove is the name of it. And then Corner Brook itself is also going to be the main center. But a lot of things are broken down into smaller areas. So when it's all said and done, I don't think we'll notice a lot of changes. Different names. Some stuff will go to Stephenville, some will go to Corner Brook. But outside of that, I don't expect parents or students will notice much difference now.
Okay. Well, that's great. So is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's it for now. Certainly, I know last year we kind of got away from this. That I think once a month, that's a good idea. Keep everyone in tune of what's happening in our school and see how it goes. It's going to be a challenging year for myself and for our new teachers, even our returning teachers. Like I said, the workload is increasing. As I said, that when student numbers drop, teachers numbers drop. I mean, we lost 1.5 teaching units, but the same courses got to get taught. So I mean, what happens is that the teachers got to do more. So, and if there's ever, like I said, any concerns, issues, give one of us a call. We'll do what we can to help it.
Well, thanks very much for speaking with us.
You're kind of welcome.
Last week, the winners of the Burgeo's beautification program were chosen. We already reported that about 20 individuals called the town office to have their properties entered for this contest. Last week, 3 counselors went to these properties to do the judging. Once the totals were tallied, only a point or 2 separated all participants. The winner of the $300 first prize was Bernard Benoit, and here is his garden. Neil Spencer was awarded the $200 second prize, and this is his garden. Elda Warren won the $100 third prize, and here is her garden. The winners will be presented with their prizes next week. We congratulate the winners and wish them every success with their next gardening season. On Wednesday of this week, we had a gentleman come to the BBS office looking for 2 people who came to his friend's rescue this summer. On June the 23rd of this summer, Mr. Gerad Lee and Mr. Fred Walsh from Barswell Brook went fishing at the Southwest Brook on the Burgeo Road. During that trip, Mr. Walsh, who was 73 years old, fell in the brook and went face down in the water. After about 5 to 10 minutes, Mr. Lee got Mr. Walsh to shore, but he wasn't breathing. Mr. Lee resuscitated him enough to run to the road to seek help. Mr. Lee flagged down 2 people driving a black car. They gave him a dark grey blanket from Mr. Walsh and then went to get an ambulance. Mr. Lee didn't think to ask for their names. Mr. Walsh has since recovered from his ordeal after spending several days in the hospital on life support. He would like the community's help in tracking down these 2 good Samaritans who went for help that saved his life, so he can thank them personally. If anyone has any information about these 2 wonderful people who stopped to help out a fellow man, would you please call Mr. Fred Walsh at 646-2886. They believe that the 2 people are from this area because they knew about the outfitters in the area and were aware that there was no cell phone coverage on the Burgeo Road. That number again is Mr. Fred Walsh, 646-2886. The Anglican Church would like to remind everyone that there are still sun catchers available. You can purchase them at most stores around town and from any vestry member. They cost $10 and they make a great gift. Stay with us for Off the Rack and the BBS Playbill, coming up after this.
In a scene from prehistory, still fjords run deep, hemmed in by giant granite walls, carved by volcanoes, tectonic upheaval, 20 times as old as the Rockies, our park. Icebergs drift south. Humpbacks migrate to the north. This is the place where their paths cross. Where you can't see the icebergs for whales.
Off the Rack. This week, as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a tape of an environmental camp with children singing a song about chemicals going down the drain. Let's look back to August the 13th, 1995.
When you're washing your car in the midsummer heat, do you dump the dirty water down the drain on the street?
Once the water goes down, see the path that we see. And when it goes a little ways and puts it straight in the creek. You should think of all the fish that are going to be hurt by all the chemicals they can't even see. It is a rare spot ecologically, and it doesn't make sense to me. If you painted a fish by the mouth of each drain, would it help get the message running through our brain? When you look at the fish, you remember the case. For chemicals and other junk, this isn't the place. The thing you gotta know that it's up to you to take what you've learned today and make it what you do. So remember what you heard, though the words are nothing new. The fish deserve a limelight too.
And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night and God bless.